guys, welcome to an episode of NoBullBiz. That sucked. Let's try this again. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to NoBullBiz TV. I am so fired up today. We're literally in the studio today with entrepreneurs that are either 20 or under the age of 20. And I'm telling you guys, I'm getting goosebumps right now because that fires me up, because I started as an entrepreneur when I was literally 18 years old. Actually, when I was a lot younger, I was already in business, doing stuff like, lawn care and painting fences and some minor woodwork. But the reality is, back in the day when I was being called to be an entrepreneur, I really feel that in life that, you actually have a calling to be an entrepreneur, and there's this pull on your life that it wasn't common at all. It wasn't common. So I was reading a Forbes article before we introduced the tribe here. Was reading this morning, actually. My COO sent me this. So props to you, Steve, for sending this over to me this morning to read. This is a crazy stat. So they're talking about the number of self-employed people in the United States, okay? So the number of self-employed people in the United States has grown, guys, nearly 150,000 since 2014, okay?
Wow.
So 150,000 to 8.7 million, okay? So this number is up, guys, from the end of 2016. It's up 8.6 million. I mean, this number's crazy. So when I talk about there's this culture, there's this movement, it's cool, to have a startup. Dude, the term startup didn't exist when I got into business, right?
Wow.
It was actually not the right thing to do. The right thing to do was, finish high school, go to college, 2-3 years in college, try and get some kind of a degree, and then get a job, right? But how many of you guys know that that's just not the truth today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I really want to get these guys involved today, because the whole point of bringing these young entrepreneurs to the table is, I don't really know where you're at, in your life. You might be 20 years old. You might be under 20. You might be 30, 40, 50 years old. Always been an employee, always worked a job, but you've got this calling on your life. You've got this pull, and you feel like there's something that you need to do to go out there and conquer, or go out there and change the world. And so I really want these guys to talk about why they're doing what they're doing today. And they're going to get real personal with you guys. I've got some tough questions for you guys. Some tough questions, okay? All right?
Cool.
So first things first, why don't we just do kind of a quick little introduction in terms of who you are. We'll start with you, Cody. Obviously, your name, your age, where you're from, and what you're doing.
Yeah, so my name's Cody. I am from Calgary originally. I'm still here. And,
born and raised?
Born and raised
Wow.
here. So, I used to work at a job, quit my job to start a business, just because I felt that was, I don't know, I just felt like when I was working a job, I had a limit. I was working in a startup, so I felt like I had a cap, and so I wanted to break out of that and start my own thing, and then realized it's a lot harder than it actually was. So then I, faced that dip and that raw reality of what it's like to own a business, and then, I seen a little bit of success. So I run a design agency.
Okay, awesome. So you're like a graphic designer.
Yeah.
That's why I love you, man. That's one of my passions, man. So, okay, cool. That's awesome, Cody. Well, we'll go with you, Joseph, next.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Cody, how old are you?
I'm 20.
He's 20 years old, guys. 20 years old, running
But
his own company.
Keep in mind that I started doing this stuff when I was 12.
For
I
sure.
wasn't,
Oh,
it's
wow.
not, it's not like I'm 20 and I just started doing this and I just became this graphic designer. It takes time.
Totally.
And
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to start early, but
Well, when did you make the decision to go into your own business? How
6 months ago.
6 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there, I'm going off the script, but was there kind of a TSN turning point? What was there this pivotal moment where you're like, okay, I'm doing this?
Yeah, sort of. I was working in an agency,
Yeah.
and I was making a good, decent salary job that you'd make if you graduated college.
Sure.
But I realized that the only way I could make more money, it was a startup, so there's only 8 people, is if I made my boss make more money. And so I was staying late. I was working overtime, not getting paid for it, but in hopes that I would be able to elevate the company.
Right.
But then like I remember sitting down with my boss, and she just wanted to go a completely different direction. Like, and what that was, she wanted to do work that was like just sweat house design work, and I wanted to do like stuff that was very boutique, and I wanted to work with big brands and stuff, and she didn't have that vision, and so I was like, okay, I gotta change, and I gotta do my own thing.
Cool. I really respect that. So being authentic to really who you are.
Yeah, and I think trying to grow something beyond just the money, right? Trying to make an impact. So.
That's great, Cody. Awesome. Joseph, little intro.
So my name is Joseph. I just recently graduated high school 2 years ago. 19 years old, and
19 guys, 19.
I guess what I'm doing now is that I took carpentry for first year of university last year, and I'm like, hey, I love this. I really love what I'm doing. But then I was about to apply for a job at a company, and just looking at the hours I'd have to put in and the amount of time I'd get in return, I would have no life. It's that, like, yeah, I would love what I'm doing, but would I love it once I finish a year of it? And so that's when I got into the industry, joining my dad and my brothers, the financial industry, just helping educate families on what they're doing. And that spoke to me is because, like, our family went through quite a rough patch when I was younger. And if we had this knowledge that we're teaching to families now, we would be in such a different place. So,
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's great. So you really feel that calling.
I do, yeah. So not necessarily, like, this is not necessarily, like, oh, this is what my purpose, what I'm set to do. But I'm like, okay, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work at it. And then I'm going to go and use what I'm doing now to fund what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Sick. Love it. Right on. Okay. I'd bounce you too, Cody, but you're kind of far. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, works.
All right. I was going to do like the automatic, no clutch, right? You know?
Wow.
All right, well, let's go with Daniel next.
Cool. So my name's Daniel. I'm 20 years old, born and
Single?
raised.
Okay.
Okay, at least she's not All right, so born and raised in Calgary.
Inside joke.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So born and raised in Calgary.
I really don't want to edit this, guys. Okay, I really don't, because that's what makes it so fun. Okay, back to Daniel.
That's my brother. So yeah, also in the financial industry, but really my love for business started because I was doing really bad in university. I didn't go to university. I was doing really bad in elementary.
Okay.
And my mom took me out, and grade 1, I was in grade 1, my teacher was holding me back every recess because I could not understand math. Right? And so my mom didn't want me, really my parents, both my mom and my dad, they did not want me to grow up hating education. And so they took me out, they homeschooled me for most of elementary. And it was during that time when the Nintendo GameCube came out, and I wanted one. And so my mom said, hey, why don't you pick up these cans of bottles on the street? You can deposit them, you get money for it. So I did that. But she meant go around the block and pick up cans and bottles.
Okay.
I'm like a 6 or 7-year-old kid. I went door to door, and I knocked every single house in our neighborhood.
Wow.
Getting all these cans of bottles, because I'm like, well, that's what my mom meant.
Yeah.
Right? So I come back, and then I have a big bag of bottles, and she's like, well, that's not what he meant, but it works. So then I got my dad involved, because what would happen is down the road, I'd have so much that my dad would have to take the van. I'd put the stuff in the van, and then we continue going around. So that's sort of how it all started. I was about 6 or 7, and then I just did stuff throughout. Went back in elementary, went back into, throughout junior high, sold stuff. High school, it sort of hit like a stale season. I didn't do anything until after high school, when two really good friends of ours, Natasha and Andrew, when they took me under their wing, and they were like, hey, we know you love business, and you have a hunger for it. We'll teach you what we're doing.
Cool.
And these guys were doing, selling stuff online and doing, using a couple online platforms for their products. And so they taught me, and Andrew, he was the one who taught me how do you literally start a company in the online space from the ground up.
Wow.
So everything from how do you get manufacturers, how do you ship stuff from overseas, how do you create a label, how do you do the marketing, PR, everything.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it was huge, and from there, that's when everything sort of really re-sparked on the business side of things. But even still, I'm like, I can make a lot of money doing this, because they were making, respectively, a lot of money.
Yeah,
totally. But I also figured, I'm like, I still need to understand how does money work. And so both of my parents have been in the finance industry for the last over 10 years.
Okay.
And I, really talking with my dad, it's like, it makes sense to pursue a business down the finance path right now because I still need to know how money works.
Yeah.
And
We
really,
all do.
And really looking at the stats, I'm like, if you look at, a financial advisor, right? The average age of a financial advisor in Canada, the demographic is a 59-year-old white dude. Right? I mean, you think of financial advisor, that's what you think of anyway. Right? As it is, right?
Yeah.
There's that. And
Drives a Buick.
yeah, seriously.
Sorry, Buick fans. Buicks are pretty sexy nowadays.
Buicks are nice.
Okay,
They're
back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and looking at at the stats, like what was it? Yeah, so most financial advisors and the in the US, the amount of licensed advisors in 1988, I think it was, or 78. It was like 30 years ago. You had over 500,000 licensed insurance agents in the US. Mm-hmm. End of 2017, 2018, you have a little over 150,000.
Wow.
So
Change.
It's a huge change, right?
Yeah,
and now everyone's
kind of aligns with what's going on with self-employed people.
And that's the thing is everyone's doing their own self-employed thing.
Sure, yeah.
Because these 59-year-old guys, either they're retiring or they're dying off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so, and it's not for the finance industry. It's not a lucrative. Like you graduate, like I'm going to start my own business in the financial. No, you think of like an online startup. You think e-commerce. You think of something with whatever's
shorter
popping
runway.
now, real estate, whatever that is,
Yeah.
right? Something that's attractive and you get the money right away.
Yeah.
But see what my parents went through and how how my dad built the business to where it's at today. I thought I should start my own thing because you go into it, the people you can help and the money you can make. But as a business, it made a lot of sense because the need is never going to go away.
Wow.
Right? If there's all these self-employed people, they're all going to have a need. If they're all going to be making money, right? So that there's a pocket right there that I can deal with, right? So for me, that's a little bit.
And
of
how old are you, Daniel?
20.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
So Daniel's actually coming out with his own show. As you can tell, he's got lots of content to share with everybody. So we're just going to put that on you right now, okay? And unfortunately, Josh, we have no more time, so
right.
you're not going to
No
be able to
worries.
introduce yourself. Just kidding. Go ahead, Josh.
This guy. So I'm Josh Alvarez. I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta.
Single? Not single?
Single.
Single. Okay.
Relationship.
Single
with-
dad, no kids.
Single dad with no kids. Yeah. So, jeez, I'm 22 years old, and just a quick history about my background is after graduating high school, I never really wanted to go to university despite having the marks for it.
Right.
I was a typical smart Asian kid.
With glasses.
Yeah, with glasses. Yeah, so, and I did not want to go to school. I didn't really want to do a 9-to-5 job, but I struggled with this identity that you have to go to school to be successful. And if anything, my dad always told me he always worked a 9-to-5 job, but he had an entrepreneurship heart. He always wanted to do something big. But he told me, one quote that he told me that hit me really good was, education is the foundation to your future. He never said school was the foundation to the future. He said education.
Wow.
And I'm just like, wow.
Wow.
And it hits home. But anyways, after graduating high school, I struggled for, I think, 2 or 3 years with what I want to do with my life. And so so you know what, and then next thing you know, I applied to university, got accepted, and first year it killed me. I don't see this lightly. It was probably one of the lowest times of my life. I was so depressed, and I just asked God. I was just talking, and I'm like, is this it for my life? Just to go to school and graduate, work a 9-to-5 job? Is this it? Is it just is this it? And then so that happened, and now I'm here.
Right on. And you're building a financial business.
Yeah, I'm with. I
Financial
work
industry.
alongside these guys. I help families reach their financial goals, and it's something I love doing because growing up I've always loved working with money and just with numbers and things like that. And growing up as well, my mom, I hated financial advisors.
Yeah.
You know, my mom, time after time, went through financial advisors, and all they did was just sell her something. I'm like, Mom, you got to stop meeting with these people, until one financial advisor came and just sat down with my mom and educated her.
Wow.
And at the same time, I was under the wing of Daniel and his dad, and all they did was educate me. They didn't sell me anything.
Yes.
All they did was educate. I'm like, wow,
Amazing.
I want to do this for families as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so I do that, and I do create content on the side
Yeah.
on YouTube, and
Right
I rap
on.
a little as well. So
Little side hustle.
yeah,
Little
side
passion
hustle.
project.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I had the privilege of actually hanging out with you guys a little bit in Miami. We went down there for the 10X conference.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cody, hit that 10X button for us.
Success is your duty. Come on, wake up. What are you thinking? Success is your duty. You're the example.
Oh, I love that. That was perfect timing. That was a good one. It's you know, it's got a little loop, right?
Yeah.
But, that was great. So, well, thanks guys for the for the intro. What we're gonna do quickly is I'm gonna ask everybody a question, and I'm gonna give you guys a chance to ask me a question. And working on a bit of a passion project right now myself. A new book coming out called Startup King. I'm gonna put that up on the screen for you guys to see. And I think he's gonna really love it. It's a real kind of an intimate tour behind the scenes of my life over the last 10 years or so, working in the tech industry, building a tech company, losing it through a very painful lawsuit, and I'm going to open up and really share that story. And I think it's gonna help a lot of people. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I'm gonna start with Daniel. Question number one for Daniel over here. Put the weight on you first, big boy. And is what is your biggest goal for 2020? Your biggest goal for 2020.
Just like in general or business?
Your biggest goal for 2020. First thing that comes to your mind. Or is there something that you've really been preparing for? And I'm going to explain why.
I'd say probably I have a couple like really big ones. Probably one of the big ones would be to open up an office in the U.S.
Okay.
Just the way that the company's going, we just are expanding to the U.S., but not an office with just with my dad and with our business and our team of agents, because it's gonna take a bit of capital for sure, and it's gonna be huge. I mean, we've never done anything like that before, but I at least for me personally, and I've really been, I've been praying about it, and I just have this like super super strong urge to do something in the U.S.
Okay.
in this industry. So
Cool.
That's probably one of the biggest goals, I'd say, for 2020. Yeah.
The reason why I asked you what's your biggest goal for 2020 is, as you guys know, we're just about to start quarter four.
Yeah.
Okay. So every single thing that you do, and guys, take note of this, because every single thing that you do in quarter four 2019 will either create momentum and really propel you into 2020, right? Or you're literally going to have to start all over again, which most people do. They're kind of like rolling out of bed after New Year's, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I got to start thinking about 2020. If you're doing that, you're already too late, right? So right now is the time to, if you want to get in the U.S. market, you want to open an office there, you feel that pull, then everything that you do this next quarter is going to be intentionally related to that, right? So I really encourage you to do that, man. So I'm going to give you a chance to ask me a question now.
Okay, cool.
Be nice.
Okay?
Okay.
So one of the questions I had for you was, and we touched on this a little bit before, but how do you prioritize, family life, personal life, going to church with business and with all of that? And like, is there, everyone talks about having a balance and stuff, but typically, I've found a lot from, 9 to 5 people, but like, as a business owner, someone who's built, several businesses, is there such thing as having that balance, and how do you do so? Should you do something like that? Like, what does that look like?
Truthfully, I'm probably not an expert in that area. I'm a little bit more of a surfer, I guess, in terms of balancing my lifestyle and my time. Truthfully, I spent a lot of years really not putting my family first, and kind of paid the price. I guess if there was a regret that I would have from the early days of business, and you start to realize this as you start to live your life, especially now, hitting the age 40, I started to realize that some of the most precious years with my daughters I just wasn't present. You know, I was out there chasing my dreams and, you know, going after projects and just yes, you know, the more the better. And actually I posted a quote this morning on social media, and I actually heard this through Darren Hardy years ago in a keynote. And somebody asked Warren Buffett, you know, what do you attribute most of your success, you know, to becoming a billionaire? And Warren Buffett said, you got to get really good at saying no. Mm-hmm. So some of the highest producers, some of the most successful people in the world, I mean, you think about it, right? If you're friends with a professional athlete that plays in the National Hockey League or plays in the NFL, they're very committed to their sport, right? Yeah. And so you say, hey man, let's go hang out, or hey, let's go take a trip and do this. It's not happening, guys, right? Because they have a system that they work daily. So I think it's really, really important to have balance. I think every single entrepreneur struggles with that because, you know, we feel like we need to be working 24/7. And the one thing that I've really started to realize, especially in this season of my life, is it's okay to not reply to a text instantly. It's okay to not reply to an email instantly. It's okay to turn the phone off for a while and just, you know, unplug and recover. But we do have to understand, guys, there's only 24 hours in a day. There's only 365 days in a year. So if you want to have certain things in your life, right? You want to be healthy, you want to work out, you want to spend time with your family, you want to have a girlfriend, eventually a wife, you want to have a relationship. You have to literally schedule this into your life. If you don't, it's just not going to happen. And you're just winging it, right? So I really think that being intentional is one of the most important things. I still struggle with it. I've definitely gotten better over the years. I've also learned to understand when it's time to just unplug and it's time to go home and charge up again, you know. And I'm going to spend so much time working on my startup this year that literally I came home at the end of last month and I did not put a time limit on it. You know, I really needed to focus on me. I need to focus on my health. I need to focus on my family. And it's been absolutely incredible. So I hope that helps.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Great.
So question number 2 is for Cody. All right. So Cody, what has been your biggest challenge in 2019?
It's an interesting question. Yeah, I guess there's been multiple challenges. So picking one is tricky, but I would say being able to balance the amount of time and the boundaries I set with work has been the biggest challenge. I'm the type of person, like you mentioned, where I'll just say yes to everything because I feel like in the beginning days of a business, if you say no to stuff, you're turning down opportunities that you can't afford to turn down. Especially with what I do, it's a service-based business. So if I say yes to something, that means that's not just something I have to do that day. It's something I have to do over the course of weeks and months, right? So I think like understanding my worth, my like business's worth has been another thing that I've went through that was crucial because I in the beginning I thought I could charge X amount for a product or service, but then through clients like sitting me down and telling me like that I could charge more, and that's what it took to be able to be like, okay, even though I'm 20 years old, I can charge more. Because like, you know, I'm working with people who are not near my age at all, right? They're 30, they're 35, they're 40, they're 50. They're older than me. And so, and they run usually successful businesses. Usually they have like 20 plus people. Yeah. And I'm sitting down with them and I'm consulting their brand. And like, I feel like I'm like, what am I doing here? You know, struggling with like, and that goes back to how much I can charge, is like struggling with knowing that what I do is valuable and that that's valuable to someone else. And I think that's been the biggest challenge, but I think I'm starting to understand that and do that through like hiring great people and working with people that are older than me and better than me. I can leverage their strengths, right?
That's wise.
And then I can be at the top. So that's what I've done, and it's helped me out. It's a lot easier going into a meeting. If you're in a meeting with 5 people in their company and you go in one person, it's a lot harder than going in with 2 people. One guy's like 30 and you sit down, it's like, okay, I feel more in place here, right? Totally. So that's been the biggest struggle and biggest upside, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. And question.
Yeah. So I have sort of 2, and it sort of goes along the lines of what Daniel mentioned, but I wanted to ask, if you could be 20 years old again, or 22 or 19 again, what would you do different? And the reason I'm asking that, I'm not asking that necessarily in business, I'm asking that in life. Like, I want to learn from people that are better than me, right? And I think, like we were talking off camera, and I was mentioning to Jeremy, like, was it, being older than us, was it worth it? Was the sacrifice worth it? And if you could have done something differently at our age, what would that be and why? So that's sort of the question. Sort of abstract, but...
I think every entrepreneur has this feeling that, and there's generally a fear of loss, when you're building business. But I think we struggle with anxiety because we feel like everything's got to happen right now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I guess one of the biggest things that I would do if I went back to being 20, if I could rewind the clock and kind of start all over again, I would just slow down. I would slow down. I wouldn't make fast decisions. I wouldn't just jump into things. I would vet opportunities more. And I would really pay more attention to, who am I really locking arms with? Who am I aligning myself with? Because alignment is everything, you guys, right? Alignment is everything. So you've got this hustle, we've got this culture of hustle hard, hustle harder, right? These are all hashtags, massive hashtags, millions and millions and millions of posts behind these hashtags. Wow. Because that's the culture today, is, don't sleep, hustle, work. And there is a truth to making sacrifice. You start a project, you have a target, you want to hit that target, you're going to have to pay a price. Okay. But I would really encourage you guys, especially at your stage of life, to just slow down, slow down, take time for yourself. Take time to recover. Do the things that you love to do, Sometimes the greatest business deals and sometimes, the most wealth or the most income that you'll bring into a company will actually come from playing in a golf tournament, right? Joining a tennis club, right? Or a running club or a cycling club. Because the reality is when you're in relationship with people and you're just doing life with people, they get a chance to actually know who you are. You're not just a pitch to them, right? Wow. You're not just a company. Wow. You're actually a human being that has real problems, real challenges, real goals, and so when you can align yourself with people that way, you'll be shocked how many clients you can get out of that, investors, mentors, people that are going to pray for you, people that are just going to be there and do life with you, right? And I think we will miss out on those amazing opportunities in our life if we're just focused on hustle. Like they say, just get through the numbers. Wow. Listen, the reality is there's a lot of truth to that. But, I'm going pretty gray. And people ask me all the time, oh, that's really cool color, in your hair. How did you do that? It's not color. It's called stress. And there's a lot of stories, right, in this head, and so I really encourage you, Cody, that be really intentional about what you're doing. Take time for yourself, and don't be afraid to join that club or get involved in a charity or do some stuff on the side, not just for money, but do it for personal value. Do it for education. Because there's this old saying, right? It's not about what it's about who you know, right? Your network equals your net worth. And so go out and build relationships. I literally, guys, I spent 4 or 5 months in Miami this year, on and off, but about 4 or 5 months in Miami this year, really just focusing on building relationships, building a network within the healthcare community. I really wanted to learn. I wanted to identify. I wanted to know what the real problems were, right? Oh. And so don't be afraid to just slow it down. Okay? I hope that helps.
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay. Joseph. We get the J. The JJs.
J-O.
Okay, Joseph.
We have 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to reset.
Okay.
Good point. This is a perfect time to reset.